How are you? I'm good. Lots of energy flowing. It seems to be the new norm lately. Just wandering around in the world trying to figure out what's the path forward. And today was kind of important for me. And that's kind of created the name of the live. So are you dreaming big? What are you dreaming of? What are you dreaming for? Where were your dreams before all the craziness happened, and have they been closed off? And that's what I'm finding in my world. A lot of my dreams died. It wasn't specifically with the V, but it was even before that, probably about 8 years ago, after kind of everything started to go dark night of the soul. It just seemed like more and more and more that the things that I wanted seemed further and further out of reach. And it kind of collapsed me. And then over the last 2 years, with all the stuff that's gone on, my world closed down pretty small, as I think a lot of people's did. And there's so many, I'll call them excuses. It really irks me to call them excuses, but the way the God works, the universe works, etc., it puts obstacles in front of us. It slows us down. It goes and forces us inward. And then there's side effects of those inward experiences, traumas, whatever you want to call them. And they smash us. We make these little contracts with ourselves along the way. It's like, I'm never doing that again. I'm not going to keep doing that. I'm not going to reach out. I'm not going to live big or climb high or whatever because somebody smacked me or I got whacked with a fly swatter or whatever. And now I'm seeing it's kind of come full circle. That waiting game doesn't feel good anymore. That, okay, is the world going to smarten up or whatever? And I'm getting a real big push to create now. And that means having to go back to my dreams. And I'll share some of my dreams, that stuff I've tried to do that I thought I fell on my face on. My biggest one was to build kind of a spiritual community center, a place where very kind of big open space, and all around the outside are these like 10 by 10 little treatment rooms, and all in the middle is a whole pile of nice, beautiful brown, black, whatever color leather couches with coffee tables, and just cozy little places where you go plunk yourself down, you go find your favorite tea or coffee or whatever over the little stand in the corner, and you go and plunk yourself down and sit beside somebody new, and you get to know somebody. You meet your next spiritual mentor. You may meet your friends. You meet people that are like-minded, and just creating this large open space where people can come. And then as people discover that maybe they have blocks or they have traumas or things aren't going well, they go and talk, and there's this beautiful little secretary person or administration person off to the side, and she will intuitively look at you and suggest one of the practitioners that are working around the outside of the building. And certain days, certain people each rent a room and reasonable price, and you just go there, and it's to explore yourself, start to meet people, find new modalities. There's workshops in the evening on a ton of different topics, and just a place of awakening. And there's a small fee to keep the cost of the place going, and everything's reasonably priced, and everybody's welcome. And then in the workshops, what I'm really called to build is experiential workshops. Workshops where you go in and you learn how to deal with your triggers. You go into a space of loving people with people that have self-mastered themselves, and they're going to oversee and watch people go through specially designed little explorations of our trauma. So I wouldn't say creating any conflict, but maybe you have an argument with a person, have somebody call you a name, have somebody whatever in a closed container where we all have agreements before we start, but it puts us into that edge of seeing red, of feeling uncomfortable. But having a group of people surrounding us that are going to help us, okay, my heart's pounding, oh, I'm seeing red, what am I going to do? And recognize that in people, and then you have the tools you were taught before you even started. And when you go to that edge, and if it's not working and you can't use the tools and it's not comfortable, you put your hand up and somebody comes over and says, okay, what are you feeling right now? How are you breathing? Okay, get your breath back. Okay, step back. Put your hand up like this and tell the other person that you don't want to proceed. And guess what? You now have this beautiful, beautiful experience of going to your edge without it being like a family member or somebody that you're going to go off the edge on. And that wonderful person is helping you sit through it. And then you go into another experience and try it again. Now, oh, wow, my tools are working. Okay, I'm breathing. I'm being the observer right now. I'm taking a step back so that I can get my space. And then I'm going to go in and explore this energy inside me. Because we all have them. We've just never been taught to deal with it. And often we've been told that our negative emotions, our frustrations, our scares, our worries might be scary to other people. So we go into this like fight or flight state. And the most powerful workshop I could ever teach someone is how to deal with your triggers. And then that tool is going to go into everything you do from that point on in your life, your relationships, your dealings with your children, family, go into your job, into just dealing with people in general. And from all this space that I build in this spiritual community center, we then have potlucks and we have connection parties where people get together and explore. We even do things instead of, it seems to be that dating is so broken, we now have a community of people that are better people, are more aware people. And I'm not judging, I'm just saying people that have chosen to explore themselves and now can deal with things that are not working out or triggered states. Can you imagine if you had a conscious partner that had these tools, and instead of dating in the old way, you just interact with a person, you build a conscious agreement to explore whether this person is suitable to continue on in your life, and make a conscious agreement that's supported by a community. Can you imagine all these things? It's just going to change everything. And I attempted to create all this, the basement of the home that I had for 2 years, and I created this beautiful space, and I even put sheets up. It was an unfinished basement and made it look beautiful, and it all got smashed by the thing that happened for the last 2 years. And it was really hard, and then I lost that house, and I couldn't have that house anymore, but now I'm feeling compelled to start again. What's your dream? What's the thing that's going to change the world in some way that you've tried but you never thought was good enough, or you didn't have somebody to co-create it with, or you didn't feel you had the support or whatever? Well, now's the time to start bringing that stuff out. It's now the time to bring it forward, suggest it to some people, and maybe they'll resonate. Maybe they'll want the same thing. Maybe you can join together and co-create, and it's going to be a little more comfortable working with somebody in parallel so that not all the stress is on you. Start to sit in that dream of the thing that would blow your life wide open, would get you to leave your job and try something new, and would create this loving, supportive community around you. Maybe you love gardening, maybe you love dancing, maybe you love drum circles, maybe you love whatever. How do you create that? How do you create a community around that? How do you create a space where you find other people that want the same thing? And I think that's what we're all craving right now. So step forward, state your biggest dream, put it out there, put it underneath if you want, or do a live and post it on your page and copy it here, and just talk about that beautiful dream that you have. And maybe somebody else will resonate and people will say, holy frick, that's amazing. That's what I want too. Or I want to add to it by this or whatever. And then you can create a group of people that start to set up these things. And we're going to find out all our life purposes, all our draws, all our community stuff is pulling us together. And we've got this soul family and we're being attracted to videos like this and suggestions like this. And maybe that's how we create a new world, is we start to create those communities, create those spaces, do those things that we love, share them with people, and then find people that are like-minded. And yeah, maybe somebody will pay you for that role that you have. And maybe you can trade stuff and barter stuff with other people that have these things. And eventually you're going to find this beautiful place of people that share your same ideals, your same thoughts. And if the world seems a little mangled up or whatever, how do we change it? How do we change it in our community so we don't have to have that happen in the community? This is the way we show our way out of the mess that we've got ourselves into and the other things. And I mentioned before about what are we hiding behind? Okay, well, yeah, the inflation rate's really high right now and gas is really high and blah, blah, blah. I'm finding right now I have to step away from those things. Those things are just outward reflections of the state of a whole bunch of other people that really isn't mine, but I've taken on because money's a concern and all these kind of things. What are the other excuses that are going on? It's like, okay, well, people are still afraid to come out in community. People are concerned about the next thing that's coming up or whatever. Those are the things that are programmed from reality to try and stop us from being in our alignment. And just start setting away. You can say, I don't agree with that. But it still exists. You can't fight it. You can't stop it. I don't agree with that. In my community, that's not going to exist. I'm going to talk to people and we're not going to be afraid. We're not going to worry about if everybody else is aligning or complying or whatever. No, we're going to say, okay, well, I honor your beliefs and you honor my beliefs, and we make conscious agreements to make a safe place for everybody. And everybody's got to agree. And if somebody doesn't agree, they're going to bring up their truth. We're going to discuss it until we find a place that aligns for everyone. And it's going to be beautiful. It is beautiful. It's already starting in some ways. Just start to look inside and see what's next for you and what's next for the world. And if we're waiting for the world to change and some miracle to happen or some event and all these kind of things, let's start right now. We can't keep waiting. It drives me nuts to wait. So let's start consciously creating inside of us, consciously creating with people that want similar things. And we're going to kickstart whatever's next here, right? In whatever energy it is now, and love it. So dream big. What's your dream? Put it down on the bottom. Share it. I shared a couple. I got tons more. I teach people about conscious sexuality stuff, and it all starts with knowing ourselves and our bodies. It has nothing to do with sharing anything with anyone first. That's another dream. Getting people back in touch with groundedness and being sensual and what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and are conscious of yeses and nos and those kind of things. If we get all those perfected before we meet another, holy frick, are we an amazing partner. Just teaching all those things, connecting technology into our businesses. That's another thing I'm good at. I help people set up websites and connect tools to sell things and connect all these things and set community groups up, etc. These are all beautiful things that we can share and offer and co-create in between. So what's your dream? I want you to go and do a little bit of thinking right after this. What's your dream? What's the biggest dream? What would blow your socks off, would change your life completely, and just put it out to the universe? I'd love to have a spiritual community center start now. I'd love to do workshops on conscious sexuality. I'd love to do workshops on teaching people their triggers. And I invite it all into my life now and see what happens. Come back in a week. Things are manifesting right now. Things are changing. You're going to be surprised. And let go of the hows. Let go of the holy fuck, that would be scary. And just smile. Just say, hey, show it to me. I'll figure it out as I go. If you get stuck or it's too much, come talk to me. Talk to anybody in my community. And we'll walk you through it. And maybe there'll be something beautiful that co-creates out of that. So try it, see what happens. Love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Be surprised. Love you. Bye.